To the amplified unit, salute. Welcome back to the channel. We got a big upload for you today. I, of course, will be your host, B motherfucking C, amplified. And when I say we got a big upload, I'm talking The Rock, frustrated, furious with Paul Levesque McMahon, H times 3. That's right, there's there's 3 of those H's, and The Rock is furious with all of them. We'll talk about it in this upload. Also, Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné. She's on her way over to AEW, and is she about to create a dynasty? We're talking about if Tony Khan has a plan for Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, when she arrives in Boston, Massachusetts, TD Bank Arena in just a few weeks. But maybe that's not the question. Maybe the question is it Mercedes Moné? Is it Sasha Banks that already has the plan? Because a now former top producer and top creative writer for WWE that just left the company this past week, a top creative writer and top producer, senior producer, just left the company. And this woman could be AEW bound. And yes, there's a connection with Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné. We'll talk about it. It begs the question. The discussion at least has to be had. And this is the channel where we have those discussions. Also, the Smackdown preview for tonight. Friday, February 16th, 2024. 24 hours from now, we will officially be 7 full weeks away from WrestleMania. It's no longer, we're a couple months away, BC. Relax, the card will fill out. No. After tonight, it's 7 short weeks. We have 2 matches announced. One of them is a main event that at any moment just feels like it could be changed and has already divided the audience. The Hall of Fame, nobody's even talking about the Hall of Fame. We don't even have the first inductee. Usually we have that around the Rumble, sometimes before the Rumble. Or the middle of February, we have Elimination Chamber next weekend, and Elimination Chamber only has 4 matches. 2 of those are the Chamber matches. The other 2, you're going to have to deal with Nia Jax in action. And P.D. Dunne and Tyler Bate going for tag titles. Just a couple of months ago, I don't even think Tyler Bate was on the roster, the main roster anyway. And of course, who isn't going to pay their hard-earned money to the Peacock subscription service to see Nia Jax wrestle? Elimination Chamber really getting you excited, right? Maybe not so much for a lot of us. But the point is, tonight is massive. So when we go over this preview for SmackDown, I'm really hoping that the preview is getting us excited. However, I took a sneak peek. Before I go over it with you guys, I took a sneak peek, and I gotta tell you, aside from one massive segment that needs to deliver tonight, the rest of the show leaves a lot more to be desired. But it's your prerogative. We'll go over it. You guys tell me how you feel about tonight's show, and hopefully, no matter how we feel about it, WWE brings their A-plus game. It has to happen. We are much less now than 2 months away. We should have been feeling like it's WrestleMania season at the start of January, before the Rumble. So anyway, as I said, there's a lot to talk about. The Rock furious with H, Sasha Banks possibly forming a dynasty behind the scenes in AEW, and the SmackDown preview. So let BC get a massive swig of coffee, which, by the way, that was my last pod too. This one. Yeah. Nothing left. Done. That box is done. Don't worry, I always have plenty of boxes ready to go. I got Dunkin' Hazelnut here. What do we want to do? Hazelnut. I got some more Dunkin' Original. I got the fine folks over at Starbucks. I got some Tim Hortons. I got Folgers. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Folgers, it's in your motherfucking cup. But I think we're going to stick Dunk. You know what? Let's go, we'll do a round of hazelnut. All right, that sounds good. There you go. You got promoted. Hazelnut is promoted. There you go. We're going to stick with the fine folks at Dunkin'. Also, guys, when we are all done with the bigger topics of discussion, I have a bunch of super chat, super thankses from yesterday's stream. We did a live stream late in the evening yesterday, and it was for members only. It was my way to show that appreciation to my channel members. I call my gold unit. board of directors of the channel. It was my way to say thank you. It was only on 25 minutes of notice. Wish I could have gave much more notice, but that's just not how I roll. But we put that up last night, and even channel members that were not able to catch it live were able to catch it afterwards. And there was a bunch of super thankses in the comments down below. So I want to make sure that I'm giving a shout out back to those coffees that were sent over to the channel. So if you sent a super chat, super thanks after we were live down in the comments, I will absolutely acknowledge and show that appreciation at the end of this upload. Just know that. So stick around when we're done with these topics. I got a big thank you coming your guys' way. So we'll start with The Rock, furious at Paul Levesque McMahon. I knew something wasn't right at that press conference, Las Vegas, the WrestleMania 40 press conference, where after all the talk was done on the stage, backstage the cameras are still rolling and The Rock and Roman cross paths with HHH, and The Rock is really playing up his frustration, right? He's poking at HHH, really expressing how he feels he was just screwed out of his title opportunity. And Paul Levesque McMahon is playing it up. He's got this look of dire concern, right? All of this chaos, what do I do? And then The Rock says something. He says something to the effect, because it was beeped out, but it's something to the effect of, you're lucky you're retired, you're lucky you're not cleared, something like that. Or you're lucky you're old and broken down. I'm hearing a lot of variations of what he said, but Levesque McMahon completely switched like a light switch. He went from a concerned look to that shit-eating grin that Levesque McMahon always has, you know? He goes to a grin, like a little smile, and he says, yeah, you too. Totally breaking character, because he was not ready for The Rock saying that, right? He knew The Rock was going to come up, say a bunch of stuff, be furious, and he was going to play off of it, right? But when he switched to a smile, a grin, well, obviously that didn't fit the segment. HHH just broke character because they have a relationship. They're good buddies, IRL. They're good friends, but their working relationship over the years have always made them watch one another with a keenful eye, right? Almost like looking over your shoulder every now and again, always trying to upstage the other, or at least make sure the other doesn't get too far ahead of you. If at nothing else, more so ego-wise. So they've always kind of tried to upstage each other in their working game. And this is one of those situations where The Rock went a little bit low, H times 3 thought, and so he breaks character, he smiles, he yells, you too. Didn't fit the segment at all. I knew something was up there. And BC heard from the jump on that Friday night Smackdown when Cody relinquished his spot, supposedly for Dwayne, that was done so poorly. And the look on The Rock's face, it's like he knew that when Cody left that ring, even though the crowd was ecstatic because they get to see Rock and Roman, right? But something didn't feel, it's almost like The Rock knew something isn't right. Like, dude's just leaving. Like, Cody came out, said not at WrestleMania, and then nothing else. He's like, deuces, ooses. And he pieces. And then The Rock is just kind of standing there. And sure enough, the word that BC was getting was that was solely Paul Levesque McMahon. I knew that anyway, but to get that type of confirmation, it's frustrating. Because if Levesque McMahon just thinks of these things, think them through, right? Think about what this is doing for everybody and what it leads to. And if he just asked those 2 questions on everything he does, he'll probably retract most of what he's writing. Most of his ideas. Because that Friday night segment was Paul Levesque McMahon. Even Meltzy, but you see this latest report. Now, Meltzy, always take it with a grain of salt with Meltzy, but for him to say this, okay, because usually he's kind of coddling H times 3 as well, but according to Meltzy Boy, WWE's head of creative, Levesque McMahon, came up with the idea for the segment on the Feb 2nd edition of Smackdown, with Rhodes stepping aside and offering his support to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Levesque believed that Rhodes' endorsement of The Rock would be enough for The Rock and Roman to go off and have their title match, and Cody can fade off into the Losers Bracket Championship. That's the Roman Reigns definition of it, by the way. That's what he calls it, the Losers Bracket title. Hey, that's Roman, man. BC didn't come up with that one. I came up with Participation Trophy title and Runners-Up Championship. I have a few other names too, but we won't be too harsh with Sethington and his title. But Meltzy Boy is even hearing that Levesque thought that just coming out there, showing everybody that one day he will get the title, but not at Mania. Here's The Rock. I'm going to peace out. Levesque McMahon thought that was the way to go about business. No explanation. Nothing else is needed. The Rock's music hitting is all you're going to need. Absolutely asinine to think that type of booking is going to work in 2024, much less 1994. Like, you have to tie up those loose ends, man. You have to think of the story through. Think of the characters that are involved. How is this going to help them now and going forward? Is this going to hurt them more than anything? This is something Levesque McMahon doesn't think about. You know, I still think about that Austin Theory cash-in the middle of a Monday Night Raw. He cashes in the briefcase on a mid-card title, the U.S. title, which he's already held in the past, by the way, before that. And he loses, by the way. He loses. He loses the mid-card championship cash-in. In the middle of a Raw, not at a pay-per-view. Everything under the sun was wrong with that scenario. And then a week later, you know what he did? He looked at the camera. And this is one of those rare times Levesque McMahon actually had him give an explanation. I did it because, let's be honest, no one's going to beat Roman, right? And you had some fans going, well, he's right, man. It was a good explanation. No, it's not. First of all, you're a pro wrestler. You don't want the main prize? How is anybody ever going to back you if you want to turn face, if you're going to stick around to being a diabolical heel, whatever you're going to be? What do you mean? I don't think I can beat him, so I'm going to stick with the title I already had and not even win that. But that's not even the part to get hung up on. That was the explanation. I was never going to beat Roman anyway, let's face it. And then, guys, about a month, 2 months, whatever it was, as we're getting ready for Rumble, he starts talking about how he wants to enter the Rumble so he can get a chance to take on Roman for the title. Austin, you just said you didn't want Roman because there's no way you could beat him. And you had the briefcase. You had a ticket to face Roman. And you didn't want it. So now you want to face 29 wrestlers. You want to face 29 wrestlers in a chaotic roll of the dice battle royal called the Royal Rumble. That's what 29 other dudes just to get the same opportunity you already had with the briefcase. You guys get what I'm saying? None of it made sense. You did what you did because you didn't want to face Roman because you know you can't beat him. And then a couple months later, I want to enter the Rumble to take on 29 people to earn the chance at the opportunity I already had to take on the guy I didn't want to take on. Does this make sense? Of course it doesn't. And some fans are okay with it, right? I don't even want to overthink it, BC. I'm fine with it. If you don't like it, don't watch. No, I love it. I love pro wrestling. I'm not going to stop watching because people with low bars and low standards are telling me to stop watching. No, I'm going to ask that we raise the standard and raise the bar. Just have explanations. Make things make sense. I'm asking for bare minimum, guys. I'm asking for bare minimum. Just think about what you're doing. We now know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this was not The Rock that came back and him and Brian Gerwitz penciled in exactly what's going to happen with Smackdown on February 2nd and everything going forward. No, this was a segment. If you just know Paul Levesque McMahon and how he books, February 2nd was Paul Levesque McMahon. You could just see it live if you know how to critique Paul Levesque McMahon and his booking. You saw it live. Then BC gets word from his people down in Florida. Nope, that was absolutely Levesque McMahon. No Brian Gerwitz, no Dwayne Johnson. Now even Meltzy Boy is going, yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. That was actually Levesque McMahon. I don't know what more, but some people will not blame Levesque McMahon for anything, right? And the narrative, before knowing the actual truth, the narrative in the community was, The Rock is sabotaging everything. He's overriding and overstepping HHH. Him and his writer, Brian Gerwitz, they're gonna do a takeover of WWE. The Rock is gonna take HHH's position. Brian Gerwitz is going to start running WWE. To which I say, first of all, wouldn't that just be a fucking upgrade? Yeah. But no, that's not happening. Relax, everybody. Gerwitz is working on the promos for The Rock and some side stuff. No question. He is not running the segments over Triple H. Stop believing what you're reading and all the stupidity that you're seeing from content creators and such that are trying to get clicks and views and subs. Because that's all it is. There's no truth to any of it. This was a segment produced by 3 H's, and The Rock has every reason to be furious how it all played out, because it didn't make The Rock look too damn good either. Everybody looked like an idiot. Sethington looks like the biggest idiot. He's the kid at recess nobody wants to play with. He doesn't have anything to offer. He's got nothing, and he's silly, right? He's too goofy, especially for the cool kids at recess. There's always the one dude, he wants to hang around the cool kid. Get out of here, man. Go find a skateboard or something and go to the skate park. Sethington, he wouldn't even fit there. I don't know what he was doing at the press conference. He has bow ties on his shoes. He's got a bright lime-ass green outfit. I don't know if he's a greeter at the actual circus or is he in a Puff Daddy music video. I don't know what Seth Rollins is. I just know that there's talk of a tag team match for WrestleMania Night 1. Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody. And there's actually some fans that are excited about this. What does that lead to? What does that do? The Rock wrestles once every 12 years. And that's what a tag team match? What do we do? This is WrestleMania. And instead of getting Rock and Roman, because that was taken from us, from fucking the Meltdown crowd, now we get a tag match that if this was on Smackdown, I would barely care. But because it's The Rock, I'll watch. A tag team match. Neither one of these 4 dudes they're not even tag teams. They're not even tag teams. They're just throwing 4 dudes together because they had words together at a press conference. And there's WrestleMania. Can you fork over your money, please? Come on, this is big time. The next night, you can get Cody and Roman. How's that? Night 1, I'd rather Bayley versus EO then. And just tell me a good story with those and Damage Control. If that's your main event for Night 1, dude, I'm telling you right now, Usos versus Sammy and KO was a better main event than these 4. This is stupid. This is a nonsensical tag match. Best fit at Monday Night Raw or SmackDown at best. Really should be at a house show. Stop. WrestleMania, and you're having Cody and Seth in a tag team match for no reason. Nothing's on the line. What are you going to put on the line? Seth's title? Because Roman's title is not going to be defended in a tag match. You have nothing on the line. You just have like 4 dudes that they're having a tantrum at recess. So Seth looks like an idiot. Cody looks like an idiot in all this, obviously. Cody has never given an explanation for anything. Cody did not explain why he even debated not finishing his story with Roman. He was actually contemplating Seth's championship invitation and no explanation as to why he doubted himself. Then he comes out the following Friday and he says to Roman, one day, but not at Mania. I choose not to take you on at Mania. That's what he said. Not at Mania. Right? Those are his words. And he never gave an explanation to this day. And then he came out at the press conference a week after that, and he said, bullshit, I want you, Roman. And he never gave an explanation. There's nothing. This guy is his character is now wishy-washy, right? Cody Rhodes' character is Conundrum Cody, right? He never knows what he wants. Inconsistency is Cody Rhodes. That's his main. If he was a superhero, his superpower is inconsistency. Cody, with his superpower, he could change his mind on a dime, and you'll never know why. Cody looks like a goofball. And this is coming from a massive Cody supporter. At 39, I was probably one of the only bigger content creators to scream out, "It's Cody or bust." And everybody else was yelling, "Struggle and adversity, BC. It's not his time." Yes, it really is. Because we cannot have another year of Roman with the title. Because when you get to 40, it's going to be a big problem. BC was right the entire time. It's Cody or bust. It wasn't just because I was a big Cody supporter. I knew you got to read the room. That was it. Cody looks like an idiot. Sethington looks like an idiot. Roman Reigns looks like a bum. And I like Roman ever since he turned heel. Like, man, I'll put up the ones. Roman looks like a bum next to The Rock. Let's be honest. It looks like, you talk about kid brother. This is like freaking kid brother on a whole nother level. This is like, come with me, champ. I'll show you the ropes. You see it. There's this. It was like maybe WWE.com something where they were walking out of the Vegas press conference into the parking lot. And it just looked like, I don't know if it's not even little brother. It's like dad and son. Like Roman just got out of a baseball game or a football practice and dad came to pick him up. I mean, that's what it looked like as they're walking out into the parking lot. Everybody looks like an idiot. And on top of that, even The Rock, Paul Levesque McMahon, because of that February 2nd segment on Smackdown, made The Rock look like a fucking idiot. To where now fans are divided. There's ways to go about this, man. There are so many ways. And if you're wondering, this latest report is saying that Levesque McMahon did a big pivot when Punk went down. And then that really cemented how he felt about Cody not going for Roman's title. And he wanted to switch to Cody and Sethington. Which again, that shows you that Levesque McMahon lost the room from day one. He made the botch at 39. From there on out, if you're surprised when Paul Levesque McMahon makes botches this massive, that's on you. That's now no longer on HHH. Because you're giving this dude too much slack. You're giving him too much benefit of the doubt when he has not earned it. Black and Gold is done. He had William Regal heading that ship. He had Dusty Rhodes that founded NXT, and it was footed, the bill, by his father-in-law, Vincent Kennedy. HHH got to fly in on the company jet every now and again to Orlando, Florida, and play Papa H with his Papa speeches. That's it. You're seeing Paul Levesque McMahon what he can and cannot do now, and you have been for the better part of the last 12 months. This is Paulito Levesque McMahon. This is him in a nutshell. One botch creatively after another. He needs massive help. And right now, he's got writers leaving him. Before Mania, 50 days before WrestleMania, writers, top writers, senior producer / writers are saying, "Peace, deuces, ooses, I'm out. I don't want to be here anymore." Right? Jennifer Pepperman, for those that don't know. This is a good lead-in to my next story here. But I'll wrap that story up with, now maybe they're smoothing things over, because you got to work together now, man. And there's going to be a big segment tonight when we go over the Smackdown preview. We'll talk about The Rock and Roman. Maybe they're smoothing things over, but The Rock, from what I was hearing, and now hearing these reports, you could pretty much lump it all together. The Rock was furious at HHH and the way that this all went down, and The Rock is being blamed for it all, right? He came back with his writer, Brian Gerwitz, and they're sabotaging everything. And poor Levesque McMahon, once again, right? The community loves this. Levesque McMahon is always the victim. VKM is overstepping him. Get in the closet, you doofus son-in-law. You're a doofus. You just happen to be a son-in-law. Get in the closet till the show is over. I'm overtaking it. I'm in the weeds. Right? VKM was always overstepping. What can Levesque McMahon do? He can't quit. He's a grown-ass millionaire man. There's no way he can just leave. He's handcuffed, BC. Vince McMahon is stepping on him and he won't let him out. What? He's a grown man. He's a millionaire. What are you talking about? His wife, the father-in-law's daughter, has left 3 times. Shane McMahon has left 3 times. Linda McMahon left 4 times and then officially left years ago. Levesque McMahon can't leave? People leave McDonald's and don't have $10 in the bank account with 3 kids. They don't know how they're going to put food on the table, but they know they're being treated like shit, so they leave. That's called having respect for yourself, a moral compass, just a little bit of pride. Paul Levesque McMahon has none of that. He's just going to let Vince walk over. Okay, but now Vince is done, right? Now he's solely in control. Oh, here comes The Rock. Oh, no, The Rock is stomping on HHH. He's got him handcuffed in the closet. Oh, no, HHH. What can he do, basically? He's nothing he can do. He's on the board of directors, man. He's on the board. He's on the board, man. So HHH just has to eat crow, dude. No, he can leave. That's... How many times do you get stepped on at work to the point where you say, fuck this, I'm out? He's already got enough millions of dollars to last his kids' lifetime. He's good. Not like he's going to be out of work for long either. It's not like it's a family-ran company anymore either. There's no reason for this dude to be treated like this, supposedly, unless he's not. Unless he's the one who's in the middle. He's the nucleus of all of these botches and bad decision-making. At what point do you stop saying he's the victim and start saying he's the reason? I don't blame The Rock at all for being frustrated and delivering some sly remarks, even on air. I hope that continues storyline-wise tonight on Smackdown. We'll go over that in a little bit. But just about a minute or two ago, I mentioned Jennifer Pepperman. She's the top writer, top producer, senior producer and senior writer that just left Paul Levesque McMahon right before his big WrestleMania show. Why did she leave, and how is this connected to Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné? Glad you asked. I got the answer. So, for those living underneath a rock the last 48 hours, Jennifer Pepperman has left WWE. She is a top writer and senior producer for the company. Leaving right before WrestleMania obviously raises a lot of questions. Whoa, how bad are things that she felt she had to take off, especially when her explanation, unlike what you see on television, right? Some people actually explain why something so ludicrous is being done, like leaving the company right before Mania, big payday, this is your chance to shine as a writer, and you're leaving. And her explanation was, I just thought it was time for a change. I needed a change. Right? That's never good. That's code for, well, it sucks here right now, at least for what I'm doing. So she feels she needs a change. What does that mean? Are you going to try your hand at pilots for television shows? You're going to try to write some movies? What are you going to do? Some commercials? Are you going to write jingles and sell them to musicians or to advertisers? What are you going to do? Or are you going to stay with wrestling maybe? Well, it just so happens that she is very close with Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. Very close with Sasha Banks. Weeks before Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné shows up to AEW in Boston, Massachusetts, TD Bank Arena, and all of a sudden, one of the top writers, probably the biggest confidant writing-wise for Mercedes, just leaves WWE. There is a big chance, this isn't just a question, although it's discussion, but there is a massive chance that she winds up in AEW and aligning with Sasha Banks. Because another tidbit of information, I don't even think I mentioned this, the biggest thing that she oversaw in WWE was the women's division. So that's that's a big piece of the information I believe I left out. She oversaw the women's division. So do that with the information as you will. But that's the groundwork for something big to be coming together in all elite wrestling. I say alternative entertainment wrestling. But this is massive because it doesn't put the ball solely in Tony Khan's court, right? So many big stars go to AEW and they really don't move the needle, sadly. And they're big stars. It's not their fault. It's just Tony Khan doesn't have a long-term plan for them. He thinks the name alone will pop a big rating and everybody's going to stay afterwards. It's not the case, right? And that's why Saraya Page, unfortunately, didn't move the needle. Edge, already forgotten about to a lot of casuals that kind of just watch AEW now and again, which is a lot, by the way. They'll dip 850 to 900,000 viewers on Wednesday to 805 to 780 to 905 to 805. This week was 811,000 viewers. It's all over the place. There's a lot of people that don't feel they need to watch every week. And Edge to them is an afterthought. It's clear that Edge didn't bring in the numbers that I'm sure AEW was hoping for, but they didn't do any favors to Edge, so it's not his fault. The booking has not been there, right? Edge, big name. People were like, oh, what's he doing? And when they found out, they were like, no thanks. CM Punk didn't really move the needle, guys. He just didn't. They stayed stagnant at 950 for the longest time until even with Punk, they started going backwards, 925 and even 9 below. So the point is, bringing in the big names is only half of the equation, right? It solves half the issue, half the problem. The other half, you better have something that's captivating the audience that can get you to the product. But how are you going to keep them? The point is, it looks like Mercedes could be thinking about these questions and having the answers on her own, by herself, not needing Tony Khan. Obviously, once she comes up with it, she has to talk to Tony. He's the one cutting the checks. But if Mercedes can come up with a game plan as to, okay, this is what we're going to do in Boston, but once the buzz is over and it's on to the next news cycle, right? Once that happens, how are we going to keep people interested in Mercedes? Well, you build a dynasty. I'm not just talking about on camera. I'm talking about behind the scenes, bringing in a top writer that you know you work well with, and you never got to shine in WWE, neither of you, because you were constantly being overshadowed, right? Sasha Banks was being overshadowed by people like Charlie Flair left and right. VKM, HHH, doesn't matter. She was being overshadowed. And the writers, whether it's VKM, HHH, overriding them. Now, in AEW, maybe, if Pepperman and Vernado, Mercedes Moné can get together, maybe they will actually be able to produce the type of segments that they're capable of. This could be big. I'm going to keep track on this, trust me, man. Some people might say, well, that's a little bit stretching, a little bit of conspiracy there that she's leaving now and Sasha's showing up and they happen to be very close. But I think it's more substance. I think there's more to this. But I'll keep an eye on it for sure. That'll be big, man. And I just wish that people did more of that. If you're going to jump ship to another organization, you have to have a game plan before you can count on the promoter to. And then you work in conjunction with them. What do you see yourself doing? How do you want to be viewed? What do you feel is best? And then you ricochet that off with the promoter, in this case, Tony Khan. Interesting. We'll see. Smackdown preview. Let's talk that, man. Here it is. This is it, man. 7 weeks to go, man. 7 weeks. We are 50 days from tonight. And tomorrow morning will be 7 exact weeks before WrestleMania. It's no more, oh, there's a couple months, BC, relax. Things will get figured out. Nope, 7 weeks. It's way less than 2 months. So tonight is when you have The Rock and Roman. Tonight is when everything has to be put back on track. We call it the Road to WrestleMania. When, let's be honest, they've been driving through the forest. They can't even find the road. They somehow went into the forest and they're riding through it. They're taking down bushels and trees and taking out coyotes and deer. They gotta find the road. And tonight, one segment has to put them back on the road. And the rest of these shows has to keep them on the road, on the straight and narrow, and rocking out. We'll talk all about the preview in 5 seconds. Let me get a big swig. All right, so SmackDown 2/16/24. As I said, 50 days away from Mania. Roman Reigns and The Rock is the big segment tonight. That's the big dog, pun intended. For tonight, this is going to pop at least 2.5 million, the ratings, maybe even a 2.6. This is what everybody's waiting for, right? What Cody and Seth are lacking, right? On Raw, their segment was one of the highest rated at around 1.8. They peaked. The show itself was about a 1.7. Hour 3 turned into almost into the one. It was 1.599. They rounded it to 1.6. So the point is, Cody and even Sethington, they have a ceiling. The Rock and Roman, they don't. They pop massive ratings. And their segment alone is going to propel the overall SmackDown rating tonight. I truly feel it's at least going to clinch 2.5, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2.6 plus. The only question is, do they tap into 2.7? But people are going to flock to see Roman Reigns and The Rock. More so the latter, The Rock. I mean, that's just what happens, guys. The numbers tell us. Whether you want to call them casuals or just lapsed fans coming back, more eyeballs flock when The Rock is there. That's what the numbers say. It's factual information. Nobody's telling you got to like it or like The Rock. Numbers tell us that more eyeballs view the product when The Rock is on the television. So that's the big segment. My point in all this is that you're going to have to deliver something massive. There's too many fans like BC that feel like it does not feel like WrestleMania season. While some fans are hunky-dory, everything is you look up in the sky and there's rainbows and the clouds are shitting fried dough and titties. Everything is awesome, right? Oh, a tag team match at Mania. Yeah, Cody and Seth versus Roman and Rock with nothing on the line and no reason other than they're having a recess tantrum with one another. Yes. That's what we need at WrestleMania. A tag team match. A nonsensical tag team match. Some fans are happy with it, okay with it, right? And then the next day we'll get Cody and a story being finished, BC. And then there's other fans, many of us like BC, that are saying, no, that's unacceptable. This is WrestleMania 40 and that's your big match. The Rock and Roman, Seth and Cody in a tag team match. Just give me Rock and Cody, bro. Cody can do double duty. Cody knows he can pull 2 matches back to back. Back in the day, wrestlers would wrestle 3 to 4 times a night, 5 to 6 times a week. Cody can't wrestle back to back because we know Roman's not going to unless it is this tag team match. But Cody can do back to back one-on-ones. Rock and Cody night 1, cool. They end the match. There's like a mutual respect, so HHH gets his way. But The Rock doesn't actually shake Cody's hand. So there's like respect, but you still don't know where The Rock stands. The next night, Cody is facing adversity and struggle, right? Solo's trying to cost him the match. Jimmy, Paul Heyman, maybe somebody else. And The Rock comes out. You're like, oh, fuck, now Rock's really going to screw up Cody. No, Rock cost Roman maybe, right? I know they want Roman to get Hulk Hogan's record. So more than likely, Roman's walking out with the title still. And no story's going to be finished yet. But if you do switch the title over and The Rock is going to screw over Roman, well, there you go. Set it up with a one-on-one. It's more fun. Cody versus Rock night 1. A tag team match? And you're expecting fans like BC to what? Giggle over it and get excited about it? I don't know many people that are going to get excited. Oh, man, you see the tag team match? Dude, we're 26 days away, man. 13 days. Cody and Seth tag team. Oh, tag team, brah. And it doesn't help that we've seen Cody and Seth too many times as a tag team against Judgment Day. 6-man tags, tag team matches. Right? Maybe if we've never seen them together, all right. But the fact that they've just intertwined so much doesn't feel special. So what am I getting at? This, I really hope that this ignites a part of this story that includes all of us to finally get intrigued with what is happening. Because right now it is a chaotic mess, and not for the better, for the worse. Fans are confused. Talent is confused. Becky Lynch was on Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch in her promo said it's a wild something else and very confusing road to WrestleMania, I will admit. The talent is telling you they're confused. Everybody from Rollins to Dominic Mysterio to LA Knight, everybody in interviews is telling you sincerely they have no idea what they're doing for Mania. Not like kayfabe, I can't tell you, but just wait. Like literally, dude, nobody has approached me for anything. We don't know anything right now. Weeks away from Mania. The roster from top to bottom basically has no idea what's happening. That's not a good BC. Surprise and suspense. No, the talent should probably be inclined into what is happening for Mania. The talent is confused. The talent doesn't know what is happening. And much of the audience is absolutely befuddled that things have gotten this bad. And I don't even blame it on just Punk getting injured or a portion of the community having an absolute meltdown and changing a dream match into what could be a tag team match. It's the way that they produced everything going forward, that they thought that this was acceptable. Tonight, this segment is massive for so many reasons. And I already see where this is headed. It's almost like they're just promoting the tag team match. You have Roman and Rock in a promo segment together. Next week at the Elimination Chamber, the Grayson Waller effect will have special guests Sethington Rollins and Cody Rhodes. So you see what's happening, right? This is the build to Roman and Cody for WrestleMania 40, Part 2. And the whole story and the whole build is just going to be a build around a tag team match the night before. That's all we're getting. We're going to get promos with The Rock and Roman. We're going to get promos with Cody and Seth. This is it. This is turned into a tag team match build for your main event at the anniversary of Mania. It's going to overshadow Cody and Roman. Probably by design because they want Roman to go over anyway and go toward Hogan's record. I get it. But I already see how this is going, man. Rock and Roman in a promo segment together tonight. Next week, Seth and Cody in a promo segment together. They're going to hype up this tag team match. Wild. It's the opposite of intrigue for a lot of fans like BC. I can tell you that match. If you think, honestly, that that's going to excite us, seeing Cody and Seth in a tag team match. After 12 years, that's what The Rock comes back into. That's massive tonight. And if you're looking at the rest of the show, when I say I said in the cold open teaser, my exact words, it leaves more to be desired. Guys, the whole night is qualifying matches. Easy booking. You grab your Post-it notes, you grab your Sharpie pen, and if you're HHH, you just write down 3 weeks of television in about 5 minutes, right? It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as Oscar would say. You just write it down, there you go. He goes over him, right? You're just writing down a scripted tournament. It's scripted. So you're doing a bunch of qualifying matches just to get into a schmozzy Elimination Chamber match. And then finally, after next weekend, we'll finally have a number one contender for Sethington, maybe. And the ladies will finally have a confirmed name for Rhea. We believe it to be Becky, but we're also hearing Liv Morgan somehow is going to be added into the match. We don't know. I'm pretty sure HHH and WWE doesn't know. 3 H's and WW does not know who they're going with. But it's just a bunch of qualifying matches, 2 for the dudes and 2 for the ladies. Kevin Owens will face Dominic Mysterio, again, for the 87th time, by the way. Rematch! Ricola! Rematch! Dominic Mysterio and Kevin Owens. Forgive us not, if many of us won't be too excited to see it yet again on our Friday night primetime. Another chamber match will be Logan Paul versus The Miz. Rematch! Ricola! Miz and Logan Paul have already dealt with one another, but we'll see it again. All right, Logan Paul's pretty damn good in what he does. And then you take Miz from Monday Night Raw and you're inserting him over on SmackDown. All right, for the ladies, you're getting Shotzi versus Tiffany Stratton. However, Shotzi was injured on NXT, so they're going to pull Shotzi more than likely. We're going too long in this upload. They probably already have a replacement, but I'm not looking that up right now. We do look for Tiffany Stratton to pull off the W, because if HHH has Tiffany Stratton lose when she's already one of the best female wrestlers, only getting better by the week and by the show, and if you're going to have her flat on her back looking up at the lights, that is pathetic to a whole new realm. So I don't care who the replacement is. Tiff Stratton has to pull off this W. Tiff Stratton in the Elimination Chamber? Oh, hell yeah! And then Naomi versus Zelina Vega. Love Zelina. This has to be obviously Naomi because she just came back. So I don't even know why you would book that match because you really can't have Zelina keep eating L's either. But And if you're wondering, that's face versus face. Naomi versus Alina. So not only can neither of them really afford a loss, they're both faces. So you literally have no reason to book this match other than Levesque McMahon doesn't care about faces and heels. He just doesn't. That's it, by the way. I don't have anything else. Match-wise, they're just chucking a bunch of matches at us that are qualifiers, right? Match after match after match. This is Levesque McMahon era, right? This is his era. Match after match after match after match after match. Good night, everybody. Not a lot of room for story development, is there? Nope. Qualifying matches, and you have some people that go, I'm glad they qualify for the chamber. Makes it feel more real and special, huh, Mayfly? No, not really. Not at all, actually. It's absolutely stupid. This is professional wrestling. There's 6 names. Just name them. And then what I want you to do for the weeks leading up, after you name them weeks ago, all 6 of the individuals, 5, whatever it is, 7, 87 individuals, however many people are in this chamber, you name them all, and then here's a crazy concept. Over the next 3 to 4 weeks, you build storylines within. That's what you do. So you take the 6, we'll say, is it 6 names? I think it's 6, right? You have 2 in the middle and then you have 4 in the pod, right? So you take the 6 names and then you build intertwining stories with them. Everything should be interlaced. And you really need to see them in that chamber match now. That's what you do. And you start that by just announcing it ahead of time and letting them rock. Qualifying for a schmaz match just doesn't see. It's like qualifying for the Rumble. Just stop. Just name who it is. If you can't tell me as a company who the top 6 dudes are to fight or the top 6 ladies to fight for an opportunity in the title, then that's a problem. But if you're telling me that somebody like Ivar, who just because his tag team partner got injured when they lost most of their matches anyway, and now because he all of a sudden became a singles competitor, that all of a sudden he gets to qualify for a World Heavyweight Championship match? Why is Ivar in a qualifier? And others, I'm just using him as an example. So no, the qualifiers don't make it feel more real to people that are using common sense and logic like BC. If anything, it muddies the waters to a detracting point of view. It detracts away from what should be focused on. It regresses any believability. It does the opposite of being effective. It's destructive booking. Because the last several weeks, all we're doing is playing qualifying match Roundup. Right? It's a carousel of qualifying matches. That's your build to WrestleMania. And the Elimination Chamber has not been a stepping stone to WrestleMania. The Elimination Chamber has been a roadblock on the road to WrestleMania. Either you remove Elimination Chamber a month before Mania because it's not helping anymore, it's hurting, or you learn how to book the Elimination Chamber simultaneously with By the way, a little bit of breaking news before we end the upload. Just got word that Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker are both in the arena tonight where Smackdown is emanating from. So, not sure if you're going to see Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker or maybe in dark matches, but they have been flown in. They are backstage as well. Braun Breaker just became tag team title holders, which JR9 in his 41st ever amplified NXT Roundup review greatly dissected that whole scenario, which is absolutely ludicrous to another level, which brings me to the end of this upload, by the way. Big shout out to a lot of my amplified unit, several channel members too, for sending some super chat, super thankses in yesterday's live stream upload after we were live, chucking coffees at the channel. I do want to start off with JR9 Gaming in that 31st Amplified NXT Roundup. Really great review. I urge you guys to go check it out. It's in yesterday's live upload. Down in the comments, JR9 rocked that review. Couple of points I want to get to in that review. Number one, JC Jane and Chase U in the interaction with Stax and Tony D and Rizzo. I love that because it fits. And the tag title match is sitting in your lap, right? If you want to go that route. And I love how they did and I didn't see it. This is just from JR9's review of it, but I love how they did the envelope being heavy that JC gave to Rizzo. And of course, they're playing like The Sopranos. So if you got a heavy envelope, usually the envelope is light and you got to correct that. Make sure that individual knows not to ever bring a light envelope to the table ever again. This was a heavy envelope, and according to this review from JR9, JC's like, just keep us in mind with those tag titles, or something to that effect. Here's a little extra. Keep my boys in mind for tag titles. But then the end of the night, unless I'm reading the review wrong, I believe that's how that transpired. And then the end of the night, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin are winning tag titles. So in the process, Tony D and Stacks got absolutely screwed over for no reason whatsoever. And the better match that you could have built toward is now it's all for naught. It never was, or it never will be, because they wanted to throw a title on Baron Corbin, because this doesn't help Braun Breaker. He's already called up to the main roster, guys. He's at the arena tonight. Raw, Smackdown, they could play this out for a while, but he's brought up. Now he's just mingling around with a tag team title because they want Baron Corbin to seem relevant. So they're going to take Braun Breaker, whatever they have not messed up with this dude, because they put him on a losing streak and they made him completely irrelevant before his main roster debut. They have screwed over Braun Breaker. But then on top of that, as a cherry on top, they're like, how can we screw Braun Breaker more? Let's stick him with Baron Corbin, the charisma vacuum. And then they throw titles on him. This doesn't help Braun Breaker. They're just hoping it helps Baron Corbin. And in the process, the whole JC Jane thing, if that's how it went down, right? That's how I'm reading this, right? Rizzo entered and asked JC for money Chase U owed. JC gave her an envelope of money, which Rizzo thought was quite heavy, and JC revealed she put extra in due to the calendar sales being higher than expected. JC then told Rizzo if D'Angelo retains to give Chase U the title shot. Rizzo said she'd speak to the Don. JC then started the JC chants once again, clearly lapping it up. So I don't know about all that, but I know that if that's the whole envelope thing is all for naught then. He told Rizzo if D'Angelo retained to give Chase U the title shot, and they didn't retain. So I don't know. I could spend an hour on this. This is just absolutely nonsensical to me. All for what Baron Corbin is even doing in NXT is beyond me. All of these people that have been released from the company when they had uber talent that were never given an actual chance. Baron Corbin's been given 176 chances, and they just won't get rid of this dude. And now it's affecting people down in NXT. Anyway, there was other things that I wanted to address in this too, but we're kind of pressed on time, and that's one of the biggest things that I have no idea. Roxy, it's really good to hear. I have not been able to keep track on Roxy the past few weeks and what she's up to, but Roxy, it sounds like her character progression is going really good. JC Jane, by the way, JR9, Booker T, I don't know if you heard what Booker T said about JC, but high praise for JC Jane, so... I know that's your gal, JR9. You could be seeing a big push to JC soon. For sure. Also, I want to give a shout out over to Clint Green with a 5-spot coffee super thanks. Just saying thanks, BC. Hey, Clint Green, thanks right back to you, man. Appreciate the gold status. Appreciate the coffees. Never needed. Always appreciated. The Fiend, Ash, Stegmeister, Steggles, 2-spot coffee, gutted. I missed the live stream. I know, brother. It was only on 25 minutes of notice, Ash. 25 minutes. That's all I had to give you guys notice. And we were live for about one hour-ish, give or take a minute. So couldn't even be that long of a live stream either. So a lot of gold members, unfortunately, had to miss it live, but I know a lot of you guys caught it, like you, Ash, afterwards, so I still appreciate it, man. And I think you guys were pretty entertained for that hour, so I'm guessing you still enjoyed it or were captivated by it. Ash, appreciate you, man. Kappa Owens, 5-spot coffee. BC, mate, I'm so glad you're on the same wavelength I'm on. When it comes to WWE in its current state, some people are hype, but what about? I don't get it. Kappa Owens, it's just a lot of it is the base that said that Cody should not win the title last year. The title has to stay on Roman for another year, build struggle and adversity with Cody. And quickly they realized they were wrong, right? They were wrong within the first few weeks, first few days. They realized, this probably isn't good. When Brock Lesnar took out Cody and there was not an explanation, they were like, oh no. And then they realized that Roman's not showing up a lot for the rest of the year and he's holding that title pretty much hostage. That's when they were like, maybe Cody should have won the title. So it's the same base that's like, well, if Cody doesn't even wrestle Roman, then we look like bigger geeks, right? Because we're the ones who said he should not win it when it was sitting in their lap. We tried to get too cute. Instead of just going with it and getting the title off Roman, we tried to get too cute. We tried to sound extra smart, right? Cody needs struggle and adversity all of a sudden. Just give the title to Cody. Let's cut the shit. Roman's going on a year-long vacay, basically. Take the fucking title, okay? Cody's the perfect guy. It's the perfect time. Give the Don't listen to those people saying struggle and adversity. They're trying to sabotage the product. And unfortunately, they sabotaged the product. They got their way. And we all know how that worked out. So then you see this year, and Cody, for a moment, wasn't even going to take on Roman. That same group is the ones that cried out louder than anything. It's gotta be finishing the story! Because they were going to look like really bad geeks. And, some of them might have audiences or, a lot of people will read their columns, journalists or reporters. People will read their columns if they're creators or whatnot. People may watch that and go, gotta finish the story. Screw this part-timer. All of a sudden, The Rock becomes just a part-timer. The biggest Hollywood box office attraction. And he's just a part-timer. He's an old, washed-up old man on the bench. So then people just jump on, right? Yeah, screw The Rock, man. Cody's got to finish. And before you know it, it just becomes one of those things where it's almost like they're trying to convince themselves they're actually excited for this WrestleMania, right? Yeah, this is going exactly how it should be. Few bumps in the road. But we corrected them, and now we're having the matches. Man, I can't wait for this Cody and Seth tag team match at Mania, man. That's the best answer I can give you, Kappa Owens. It's almost like they knew they were wrong from the beginning last year. They kept the charade up. Instead of just taking the L, they doubled down. And for a moment, they weren't even going to get the match. So they really look like geeks. And ever since, they're just trying to convince themselves that everything is awesome. This WrestleMania season is the best. When in reality, it's not even a WrestleMania season. I mean, the Hall of Fame doesn't even have an announcement. No Hall of Famers. WrestleMania is in 7 weeks. No Hall of Famers announced. No excitement for the Hall of Fame. There's only 2 WrestleMania matches announced. One of them is a main event that could be switched up at any moment. Doesn't even feel like... there's just no excitement behind it. The fans are divided. Half the fan base doesn't even want to see that match for a second time. And the other half is convincing themselves that this is what has to happen. Now, after a year, we have seen enough struggle and adversity. Cody can now lose the title. He's done nothing but fight Judgment Day 70 times and Brock Lesnar 3 times. Stop it. That's why Roman held the title for a year. And now all of a sudden, you've seen enough. You're happy now. We couldn't get the moment last year. You had to see 70 Judgment Day matches with Cody to finally say, okay, now he's got to finish the story. We can't do the dream match of The Rock and Roman. He's got to finish the story. Couldn't finish it last year when the time was right. Read the room. Now when we're about to get a dream match, now Cody's got to do it. No. What is different now than last year? There's no more struggle and adversity now than there was last year. Last year, there was even more. The dude left an executive vice president position at a rival company that he created or helped create, and he left. He comes back. He wins the Rumble. He goes into Hell in a Cell with half his body black and blue. That's struggle. That's adversity. Man, everything, the stars aligned. Nah, now's not the time, man. Let's come back in a year. We'll see where we're at in a year, guys. So, Kappa Owens, I don't know. That's a long-winded answer. That's the best I can tell you. That's the psychology behind it. Because I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's been watching pro wrestling for over 3 decades, this is the worst WrestleMania build of all time. And I've seen some weird ones like WrestleMania 13, WrestleMania 20 was very odd for many reasons, but at least there was hype. Of course, they were already willing to boo Brock and Goldberg out of the building. Not even Stone Cold could save that. Anyway, this one takes the cake. But I'm not shocked. HHH is completely lost, and there has to be a cavalry ready to help him. And instead, he has top writers and senior producers leaving him before Mania, instead of people coming to save Levesque McMahon. And nobody wants to call out the obvious. Instead, he's the victim. The Rock is trying to override him. The Rock is coming for H's job. Once again, HHH is a defenseless... He's like the kid in the Christmas Story, right? He gets bundled up in the Christmas snowsuit, and he falls, and I can't get up, Ralph. His brother and his friends are looking, what are you doing, you idiot, right? And the brother just can't get up his back. Triple H is that brother in the big snowsuit. He fell on his back, he can't get up. He's like a sea turtle. And he just needs a nudge, a seal, something. Just bump him a little bit with your nose, man. Nobody wants to just call it what it is, man. Levesque McMahon is in over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's completely lost. He needs help. And instead, people are taking off the other way. That's what I got for you guys. I can go another hour. I'm amped up on a lot of coffee. But there's a lot that needs to be done, a lot of travel. Until next time. And there will be that next time. The Smackdown review within the next 24 hours. And it could be after the show tonight. So stay glued to the channel for sure. Make sure you are pressing all the damn buttons down below. Smash the up and everything down there, making sure you guys are also notified, not just subscribed. You got to make sure you're notified, because if I put up that review tonight, you'll know about it. Top guys, we're out. BC saying check you. Go long. I don't care if the Super Bowl is done, man. My arm is still rocking out.